Today's episode is brought to you by the Hippocratic Collective. Check out our shows and join the conversation at thehippocratic-collective.com. Hello, I'm Joan. I'm a Canadian family physician who also works as a restorative medical educator, facilitator, and coach. I create spaces that rehumanize the work of healthcare. I'm creating this podcast to remind myself, as well as anyone else working in a helping profession, that when you are working and caring for your human patients, you are the other human in the room. Hello there, healthcare humans. Welcome back to another episode of The Other Human in the Room. I am already quite delighted with this healthcare human that I am meeting for the first time. And I'm so excited to learn more about you, Carlos. I will say that I am connected to you through a mutual connection that's also from the podcast. So a previous podcast guest said, "Hey, you've got to meet this guy. I think you'll love having him on your show." And so here we are. Carlos, would you like to introduce yourself to everyone?
Well, thank you very much for having me, Joan. Yes, we're connected through this magical human being. And so let's see, what should I start with myself? I'm a family doctor for a number of years, 35 years, roughly, a little bit more now. And what I always tell people, if they like their family doctor, then I say I'm a family doctor. Otherwise, I would highlight something else. So that's kind of like, what would I say about myself? I jump in the cold water every morning for the last 3 years. Yeah, Lake Ontario.
Wow.
People say, where? Lake Ontario, there's plenty of beaches. In fact, Jacqueline kind of noticed me. This is our mutual connection. Another family doctor who's been on your show, I just heard. And she says, you got to meet Joan Chan. So this is how we got met. So that's,
Yes.
maybe that's a good start.
A wonderful start. Although I'd love to hear more. Like, say you were not going to describe yourself as a family doctor. How else would you describe yourself?
I always tell people I'm German, just so sort of just to switch things up a little bit. They can see it's not German, so it's kind of like a lie that harmless.
Oh, so you are not in any way German in language or otherwise?
Not at all, but I did have a girl that really liked me, and she was German.
So you could have been German by marriage if you'd wanted to, perhaps.
So that's why that word comes up. I'm sure I have certain similarities, that typical German person. I have lots of friends who are German.
There's a connection there. There you go.
I don't know if this is going the direction.
No, I love it.
Whatever comes up.
Yeah.
What else would I say about myself? I'm a little different. I'm not like regular family doctor. I'm kind of odd that way. I'm pretty sure most people agree. That knows me a little bit. They say, "Oh, this guy's a little different." Yeah. I think it's, yeah. I don't know what to say. Would be, what would I tell people about myself? That would be, if I didn't say I was a family doctor, I would probably talk about the cold water dips. I like to go to drum circles. I like to meet lots of people. I love people. People gives me the high, It's like some people like trees, some people like flowers. I like both of them, but I also like people. I like people.
I mean, you're in a good profession because, we're in the people profession,
I find people
aren't we?
fascinating.
Yes, same. That's my favorite part of our job because I don't know, I'm also a family physician. And it's the best because not only do you get to hang out with people all day, but also you get to know them over time and like see the whole arcs of, not the whole arcs of their stories, but a huge chunk potentially of the arc of their story. And it's such a delight.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, people
So
are
good.
absolutely fascinating. The more I know about people, the more I know I have no idea when I meet a person. There's a layer underneath there that's like what you see on the outside. What the brain says in the initial sort of, initial comes up in the brain.
Yeah.
It's nothing compared to what's underneath. There's so many questions. So I think that is the privilege of knowing people. To be able to sort of connect with people in those places, and so many of them over years, I think the sense of openness comes only from having been exposed
Mm,
many, many instances of being with people that are not just with them, but with them in a place where they are open. They're open
yes.
because they have something that brought them there to you. They're open
Yeah.
because they want maybe some answers, some challenges that they're facing. So they're not just, yeah, they're there, not just there, they're open to you, right? They're
There.
vulnerable. And so
Oh,
that's a privilege for me to be able to
yeah.
experience it so many times.
Mm. I can tell we will be friends, Carlos. I just feel the same way. So for sure. I'm curious with you, like thinking back when you decided to go into medicine, like you're saying now, people are like, oh, they think you're kind of a different family doctor. And I love that. That's the best kind, in my opinion. Um, do you think that difference was there from the start? Or was it at first did you have more of a sense of I've got to stick with the norm or the norm is good, and over time you've allowed more of your weirdness out, if you will? And I use weirdness in a positive way, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I feel like there was always there, you know. It's just like
Hmm.
there's always this sort of two things going at the same time, you know, to be that doctor that people expect and that piece on the side. And I'm
Mm,
weird in a different way. I can see myself change. My patient can see that I have changed big times. They say, whoa.
mm,
And because, 35 years later, I mean, a lot of things change. So definitely there's always that difference, I think. Curiosity, maybe. I think that's always been with me. But there's need to fit in, right, to that place, that container
yeah,
somehow to to meet people's expectation what the doctor's supposed to be, to meet the society expectation what the doctor's supposed to be,
yeah.
and to meet all of those things. But I don't
I
think it
know for
was never there. I think it's just like was there all along.
yes. Oh, I relate to that. I know for me at first, like I kind of have the version where I tried really, really hard to be like as meet everyone's expectations and try and be a very good doctor in all of these ways. And what happened for me is if you try too hard to do that, you will absolutely burn out because it's impossible because everyone's expectations don't even align with each other and are generally not fit for human any human person to like if you really take them all seriously. So for me, the path was like try so hard for so long, feel like an imposter, not really, like and get to a couple breaking points of like, oh, I actually this isn't going to work out if I keep trying to do this way. This isn't sustainable. And those were the points, sort of the breaking points at which I was like, okay, I've got to find my own way. I've got to allow my authentic self to come out, get weirder, get more just to do it the Joan way, if you will, I'm curious for you, like, was it that sort of journey or was it more gradual or like how did you get to where you are now that your patients can track such a difference over time?
I can tell you a story probably that can illustrate what I
Yeah.
was trying to say.
Yes.
This gentleman says to me, he says, Doc, you're a different person. Do you remember when I first came to you and you saw all my tattoos on my arms and you asked me if I was an alcoholic, effectively, not all those words, but basically I gave him that
Yeah.
impression and he wasn't wrong. Okay. I made
Mm-hmm.
certain assumptions about individuals
Mm,
based on the outside look. And, to be honest with you, that guy, I don't judge him. Young, out of school, right? It no experience. He hasn't met people. He's
yeah.
just the way he was, right? So that has
Uh,
changed. Like that has
yeah.
changed so much, right? So it's like I use that example because it's just I recognize him, right? I remember him, but I'm not the same person. And there's so many changes because I have been exposed to so many people.
Mm.
And he told me that I was embarrassed at first when he told me that. I said, "Oh my, is that what I said to you?"
I
You
said
know,
that. Yeah.
I did that. Oh my God! But then I'm not embarrassed anymore. I'm saying it's because of all those steps along the way that I am who I am.
Yeah. You can only begin where you've begun. And there's something beautiful about looking back and accepting past versions of yourself, even if you're also glad to have moved on from them. But
Mhm.
you couldn't have been where you are now without them, really.
No, no. So it's kind of like I always tell people, like I thank the stars for how
Mm,
we have unfolded, for how I have been able to sort of become today and be a very happy person, to have the
mm,
happiness.
mm.
Yeah. So yeah, it's a gratitude. It's a sense of magic. I feel like, when people are not maybe ready for some of the things I have to offer, I don't blame them. I'm saying it's
Yeah.
just the stars had to line up. It's just part
Mm,
of his journey, part of your journey. And when people come to me, I don't take credit, say somehow I have, I'm the right person for you. I think I just happen to be the right place to be able to witness people's journeys. So
yeah.
that's my truth, Joe.
Oh, I love that. That's really beautifully said.
Yeah.
So tell me a bit more about this magic that you offer people. What is some of the things that when someone comes to you as a patient that they may experience that they might not that they wouldn't have even from you a few decades ago?
I would just say about now, okay?
Yeah.
What I see now is that, I do this group every morning, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday at 9:30, running always, right? In fact, I have a group starting at 4 p.m. Sometimes people don't show. So I have my staff.
Hmm.
I told them, I said, I'm this very important meeting with Dr. Joe. Okay. And I even told them about your website. They say, look her up. Anyways, at 4 p.m., they might knock on my door lightly, and I may have to skip out just for like literally 5 minutes.
Yeah. Well, we
Okay.
hopefully would be
Start
done
to,
chatting by
to
then.
get the
Yeah.
group running. Right. So I run 6, 7, 8, 9 groups a week. The people can just drop in. And let me tell you
Wow.
about these groups. Okay.
Yeah.
This groups, the basis of the group is a process. The protocol is called NADA, the
Hmm.
acupuncture, the National Acupuncture Detoxification Association. The NADA protocol uses ear acupuncture, 5 pins here, 5 pins here, and it can induce a certain state of, it facilitates the opportunity for inner observation.
Ooh.
Mm, yeah. So it's an instructionless, at least the way I run it. There's no instruction. It's an instruction-free
Mm.
opportunity where a person can simply observe what's really happening when they give themselves the permission to do nothing.
Wow.
On,
How long
on
do they stay there with the
35 minutes. The NADA protocol is
Oh,
55 minutes. You can look this up. However,
yeah.
I don't run 55 for many reasons. One, because people don't have time. Okay. And two, it works. Okay, I try it, right? And the other thing, I don't do follow the NADA acupuncture protocol. The NADA protocol requires 12 sessions, sorry, 15 sessions within 3 weeks, like 5, 5, 5.
Oh
And
my.
that's
Yeah.
too intensive. Like
Yeah.
most people cannot access that, right? So I run this sort of like I call it rolling enrollment. People can come and go and say, please, and it still
Mm.
works. So I have a lot of evidence that it works, right? So what, so in this process, they, again, I call it the presence therapy, but it's not really a therapy. I use the word therapy again to meet what people's expectation may be.
Mm.
What, if you're a doctor, if offering something, it has to be called therapy, right? But to
Yes.
me, the truth is not really a therapy, and I'm simply offering an opportunity where people have taken the time under the alignment of all the beautiful stars that they have shown up magically to witness what's going on inside. What is
Mm.
this experience of being? And this is a very incredible thing, Um, and I can go into more details, but maybe just so this is what I think is to answer your question. What is that I do now, right?
Yeah.
So this is what I do now. So that is parallel to my family practice. So my
Mm.
family practice, of course, as a physician, we do what doctors do, everything else, like vaccines and everything else. But there's this piece we call mental health, which is actually, I feel, at the foundation of so many issues that's manifesting because that piece hasn't been addressed.
Yes.
And by offering this opportunity for people who are ready to address that piece, right? and you can prevent problems. You could maybe help some of the problems that's already happened, diminish, or maybe help them cope with some of the problems, and maybe, yeah. So you could. So I think that's something I offer on the side, which is very different. I didn't know any of this before. So
How
this
did you
was,
learn about this?
um. So I'm 63 now. Okay. So when I
Uh-huh.
turned 52, there was this plan to retire. At that point, I made a decision. Are you going to continue? Or are you going to retire? Right.
Yeah.
So I said to myself, I say, well, okay, your little spreadsheets ran out. You're not really, I had the spreadsheet. That's how organized I was. 52, you got it all sorted out. You got to just
Mm.
retire. I say, no, I'm going to keep going for a bit. So I took a little sabbatical. Anyways, I decided to come back. And then um, so I moved into a much bigger space from 1,500 square feet to 6,000 square feet. I took a bigger space. We had
Oh,
a teaching room. All right. I wanted to make enough space to have residents come. So we are now like a teaching sort of a spot, right, for the
great.
Queen's Family Medicine graduate, for medicine residents. And I have this beautiful space, about 700 square feet, right? 750. So I start running classes. First, I was just teaching people how to eat properly. Let's get to the foundations of what is causing all this problem, how to exercise properly, and different things. Chair yoga, and then I learned about this thing called mindfulness. I said, "What the heck
Mm.
is mindfulness?" This was so I found the course online. I started teaching it together or learning together rather with some of the patients. So this went back to that. And then eventually that evolved. And then I learned about what that was, the essence of what this thing is all about, right? I learned a lot from my patients. We learned
Mhm.
together and gradually. And this ear acupuncture came maybe about 4 or 5 years ago. There's a doctor by the name of Brian Bailey. He's
Yeah.
a physician in Ottawa. He's a GP psychotherapist, and he I had a chance encounter with him. We were both on the list serve for MD Pack. You're familiar with MD Pack?
Yes.
Yes, you are, right? So we're both on the list serve. So he kind of noticed me, I noticed him, and somehow we connected. And I watched what he was doing with this thing called the NADA protocol. I knew nothing about it.
Oh,
He was being referred from 11 CHCs in Ottawa to deal with addiction,
yeah.
um, with PTSD, and also with people with with borderline. Okay,
Hmm.
I don't use that word, so that's why I forget.
It's
I
far from
don't
your
use
memory. You're like,
I
ugh,
use
because I
that
know
word
it's
is
it's
like
a very tricky term,
they got
isn't
so
it? Yeah,
much negative energy in that
I know.
word. I
Yeah,
try to steer people away from it a little bit.
yeah,
For
yeah.
me, that I think there's certain truth that I have learned, which the word maybe the energy on that word,
Mm,
it gives me a little bit of trouble.
yeah, yeah.
His identity, which I think it doesn't help patients to have.
Mm,
And it doesn't help them to get help. Sometimes the doctors have, been conditioned to feel like
absolutely.
certain ideas associated with it, which I feel is not helpful for anyone.
Yeah.
Anyways, that's another story. So that's how I learned in that process. And I can tell you more about the NADA protocol, but I'm not sure if you want to go in that direction or not. That's a lot to say.
I mean, the bit of it that I'm most curious about, um, is what it's been like, sort of implementing this. So it's like, what I heard is like you could have retired, but instead you decided to, in some ways, double down. Like, let's get more space and, in some ways, expand or at least diversify what you were doing. It almost sounds like you gave yourself permission to start doing things even more differently after that retirement inflection point. Hey, I just think that's really interesting.
And I think initially it was just about how do I pass my practice on to another doctor. I feel like
Mm,
so that I thought I need space so I can have
yep.
residence and so on, right? So that's what's the initial drive. It was like saying, and I think that was the drive. And then you got to there was probably one point I asked myself the question, like, let's be honest with yourself, Carlos. You're like, halfway through your life, right? Even if you live to 100, you still got halfway done, right? Better than half, probably. So how are you gonna live the second half, right? Like, so I
Yeah.
say, don't say no. Like my daughter asked me to do something, I say yes. before I say
Mm.
no. Before it was no, before I find the reason for yes. Now it's like say yes, and I gotta find the reason for no. Quite often there's no reason for saying no. So I got involved with so many
Mm.
things. I think that's and then one thing, it just kind of expanded and I'm having fun, so might as well keep it up.
So fun. Things like acupuncture. I think they have, well, it's interesting depending on how you were trained and where you were trained. But they can have their own, maybe stigma is too strong of a word, but sometimes they get, it's that the alternative. Sometimes, especially in academia, like it's interesting, you also have learners. Um, there's this evidence-based medicine king god that we must and love science, love evidence. And sometimes I'm just curious if you have encountered any kind of either pushback or any difficulty with colleagues about the fact that you're offering this service, first of all, which sounds like it's working. It sounds like it's meaningful for patients. So, and there can be people that prejudge it because it would, for some, I imagine, fall outside of what they think is sort of the scope of medicine. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yep, yep, 100%. I,
Yeah.
I hear you, Joan, loud and clear. It is definitely a challenge. So there's a couple of ways I try to mitigate that challenge. One is that I have to be careful who the audience is when I start talking. Like with you, I speak freely
Mm.
because I know I can't do this,
Yes.
right? I'm I'm on the list serve for the MD pack, for instance, right? So they're all like all
Yeah.
therapists, right? So, but the audience too wide. So I will not, for example, post certain things about it because I have to be very, very aware who the audience might be. And
Hmm.
in general, the doctor is a harder group for me to sort of to speak to about this. Much
Yeah.
harder. It it I think the way I mitigate, I want to do this work. I know that is important. And the other thing is I make sure there's no money changing hands between me and my patient. I keep myself very clean, squeaky clean. Right. The
Yeah.
service is, if it's covered by OHIP, okay, I build what's called group codes, and
Yeah.
it doesn't touch a full physician. So people kind of don't like it when they're financially punished because some other doctor's doing work. And if the patient doesn't have OHIP, I just do it for free, right? So they know
Mm.
there ain't no money going back and forth, right? I
Yeah.
mean, the OHIP pays the bill, but they're getting a good deal, I think, because I don't know if you know about group codes, but if you see, let's say, it's whatever the OHIP pays per person, right? They don't pay you
Yeah.
much more for 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 or 6, right? They start paying you a bit more for the 7th and the 8th and the 9th and the 10th, right? But usually it's pretty decent deal for the system. I'm
Mm.
not, another one, I'm not getting rich doing this. So
Yeah.
people can get a little bit like, the radar goes up, say, what's he in this for? So I think
Hmm.
that's one way to mitigate it. Choose your audience and just be nice to people. Like
Goes a long way.
I think doctors, I think they suffer the ego more than anything else.
I don't know what you're talking about, Carl. Just kidding. These humans that are
Hey, for
doctors, the
me, for
egos
me,
are at
my
play.
ego is big, but it's not worth it to suffer for.
Uh, yeah. Oh.
It's like say, okay, whatever, let that one go.
If you don't get it, it's your loss, right? I love that. Yeah, that all really resonates and just has a lot of wisdom in it of like, well, who's worth explaining to or not? Like your time's valuable and like, if someone's not interested, you don't have to convert anyone to the religion of you. You know what I mean? Like but like and you can still practice in a way that feels good that you're seeing results that you're enjoying.
I, I, I've learned this. I can be as weird as I want, okay?
Mm,
As long as I don't hurt nobody and I do it with a
yes.
smile.
We need to get a t-shirt. Do you have a t-shirt of that? That's really good.
But even then, it might take 3 years for people to get used to it.
For sure.
And if they really push back, it kind of time to disappear.
Then okay, it's
I
not.
bow
Yeah,
out.
I'm in the
I
wrong
bow
room.
out.
Yeah,
I'm not
yeah,
here to
for
trigger
sure.
people.
I'm curious when you started talking about this with patients too. Like you say, it sounds like it's like, oh, if it's not for you, it's not for you. But were patients quite open to you as you started to run these groups with the acupuncture?
Again, Joan, like it all depends, right, on their background. What do they have been wired down but with what's already in the head?
Yeah.
Somebody, you could have two extremes. You have people who may not tell you so, but they have background history. Maybe they come from a certain culture. They're very suspicious about this particular type of work, right?
Yeah.
And so for them, you kind of feel them out, and you ain't going to get very far. And I might not even bring it up, or I can just prompt a little bit and see. And then there are people the opposite. They will tell you, oh my God, 10 years ago, I had this acupuncture session and everything became better. It's like they
Mm,
attribute it to it, right? So it depends on where it
yeah.
comes from. So you can make a huge difference. And how I present it make a difference. They make a huge difference too. It's like you kind of have to connect, meet them where they are. Like say, oh, where are you right now? So, and you have to find that little spot, in our conversation you discover, and you can sort of build from
Mm,
that experiential place. That is their experience, not theirs. From that place, we can lead it up to a solution that may be exactly what I'm offering, right? So,
yeah.
that's just, I think that's a lot of the work I do now. Is listen carefully and say, hey, from where do we start, right? You got to find that little spot.
Yeah. Oh, I think that's valuable way to view what we're doing with patients no matter what. Like, because too often if we think we have to like follow the script of the guideline of the whatever, and then we're really trying to sort of push a certain thing onto a person, I think I'm sure you've learned by now. I certainly learned quickly, like it's just not going to work, right? Versus the listening and then just like going with them through their experience. And then when an idea sparks, that's when you offer it. I really like that as the way you just described it really resonates with what I feel like I'm doing in conversations with patients. It's like it is a sort of co exploration and just seeing where you can match your ideas to their ideas, you know?
I love it. Co-exploration.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah. And
Just
not needing to be
to
the
put the
expert,
situation in
right?
front of us. Both of us are like looking in and this what it is, the here and now,
Yes.
and see
Yes.
let's see what comes up for you and what comes up for me. And
Absolutely.
there's this
Yeah.
dance still going on.
Dance. Um, I've recently discovered conscious dance, like a kind of ecstatic dance. Have you ever done that? You like drum circles. So have you ever done like, like that really free formed, like five rhythms type dance?
Yeah, I know quite a bit about that actually.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, like are you in Toronto, Joe?
I live in Cambridge and the ones I've gone to are in Guelph.
Oh yes, you're in Guelph. How I not? I remember that actually. Jacqueline told me that.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. What days are they usually where you are? Are they a weekly thing or
Uh
you just go for the 5 rhythms?
I think there's various ones and
Sure.
they happen once a week, but the one I really like happens once a month on like a Saturday evening,
Oh, is
just
that
at the
in
small dance
Cambridge?
studio in Guelph.
Oh, in Guelph.
Hmm.
Is it every month?
Every month. Yeah. And it's
Okay.
just actually my new favorite thing. I just really love.
I would. You just might find me there.
Okay, I can send you the link. You could come
Send me the
by.
link.
Yes.
Oh, send me the link.
Oh, that would be so fun.
That'll be so fun. We're gonna come to some.
We got to do some movement. The
Oh yeah.
freedom of it, just
What do you
that
like
spark when
about
you
this,
said
John?
dance. Oh, well, it was interesting. So like the one just happened last Saturday. And there's something about like just how much can I give myself permission to simply move my body as my body wants to move. And I can feel the self-consciousness and I can feel the programming of who's watching me. Am I too much? Are they thinking I'm weird? And it's there. But if I just let her, hang out in a corner and underneath, like really just feeling, I don't know another way to feel as connected with my body and just basically like let my body drive. And also I love music. Moving to music feels really good. Like it's such a pleasurable activity. And especially the version they do is it's not 5 rhythms, it's slightly more extended, but it has that wave. So you start very quiet on the floor. You peak at this really chaotic, people are like screeching and it's really like wild, and then it goes back down. And when you're like at that peak and you just are like take up the space that's you, like you just feel so integrated as a full human. I'm using words to express something that really is like a bit beyond words and like somatic. But like afterwards, I felt kind of like high or drunk or something, and I hadn't had a drop of anything. But just because like it's such a it's such a meaningful experience to feel at home in your own body. And I think I've through socialization, whatever, lots of times I felt very separate from my body. And there's something about the wave of it all and dancing and music where I feel it's a major homecoming experience for me. So that's the beginning of why I love it.
How long have you been going to this?
I've literally only gone twice, which is really funny. Though, in the meantime, because like I can't always, it doesn't work up like dates wise always, but in between the 2 times I've gone, I like exercise every morning, but
Mhm.
almost always now, instead of exercising, I have a few playlists that have this wave. And then I just move wildly around the basement by myself, and that's my exercise. And it is a great workout. I'm sweaty and I just feel free. I feel like it's my favorite movement practice that I do by myself now as well.
That's awesome. Do you have kids, Joan?
I do. Yeah, I have a 5 and 7-year-old.
Oh, they would love to join you, I think.
Yeah.
Do they
I
join
think
you?
they would. They don't, it's so interesting. They're so funny. I find sometimes they have already learned a bit of self-consciousness. I don't think it's from me. I don't know where it's from society, but
It's
um
interesting, eh?
yeah, they kind of get like, "Oh, I might be bad at it or something." But having said that, they haven't seen me dance quite like this because like, you know, but I would love to experience it with them when they're feeling in the right mindset.
Yeah, usually those dances are open to kids.
Yeah, I think the evening one isn't, but there's like a morning one that is. That would be kind of cool to take them. Okay, you're giving me ideas, Carlos. But enough about me. How did you start asking questions? You're good at what
No,
you do.
you just got me thinking, how does a 5-year-old and a 7-year-old, right, develop
Mm-hmm.
self-consciousness, right? And
Yes.
you said something, oh, maybe I'm not good at it, right? That little child, right? So to
Oh
me,
yeah.
when you said that, you gave me the answer right after the question showed up.
Yeah.
Because that's exactly what we do to children. We say, oh, you're really good at that. And by doing that, there's already
And
layered in
then
a question. Am I actually good at it or am I not? Now, what about my this thing? Am I good at this? Am I good at that? So there's that
yes,
value, that's judgment that's almost intrinsic to the way we talk to children, right?
it is. And you can like even if you're careful with your language, it's so baked into um the world's experience, and certainly it's like, wow, good job, and you're like, oh, I just graded them again, like you don't even think about it.
And then what about that kid standing beside? He says, well, you didn't say anything about me.
Exactly, and you're not
It's like,
saying anything,
whoa,
but they're like, what about, like, aren't you gonna give me a
yeah,
grade? Yeah. Do you have kids? You said you had a
I have
daughter,
a
right?
granddaughter.
Oh, how old's your
Her
granddaughter?
name is, my last name is Yu. And her
Mm-hmm.
first name is Olive. So it sounds like Olive
All of you.
Yu.
I love that, actually. John Legend, right?
Yeah, Olive
Part
Yu.
of
So
that song.
that's her name. She's 18 months now. There's a boy that was born the same day as her. Okay, every time I see Olive, I put on the funny little hat. I always got my music going, and I make sure I'm moving.
Yeah.
Eh? And just the other day, so I actually visit her very few times because she lives only 10 kilometers away, but there's an in-law who is very dedicated to our mutual shared grandchild, and she's
Mm.
just awesome. She takes her all
Hmm.
the time. So
Oh.
whenever I do go, I maximize my opportunity to create happy chemicals in her body at the sight
Oh.
of me. So
Ah,
I'm very, very conniving little. I'm a little devious that
you're
way.
putting on
So,
a show.
oh, I put on the show the other day. In fact, just a couple of days ago, my son they bought this
Hmm.
little thing, like a keyboard with buttons on it. It's almost like a little DJ thing for kids with all the colors. And she was
Oh,
sitting there, like frog leg. You know how Asian kids sit frog leg, right?
yeah.
I found this thing. Oh my God. And she was like with the speaker and she was like moving like this side to side. I'm thinking, who taught her to do that? Natural.
That's
She's
it's just
doing
there's
her
inherent
conscious
movement.
dance right there.
Ah, yeah. That's it. You have to. It's like a remembering a remembering how to conscious dance. That's not, you know what I mean? Like, because it's not learning moves or technique. We all know how to conscious dance, if, like, and just move freely. It's just that we have to unlearn the social programming that tells us that's weird or bad or whatever. Very freeing.
When I had this couple of kids that showed up here with mom was going through a really hard time. And I was at one point worried that this child wasn't getting good care. He was the older boy at the time. He was almost mute, right? So I
Mm.
wanted, I thought the infant stim, all kind of program, thinking where I'm going to go. So I start playing this game every time the kid shows up. I would say, I see a purple truck with a smile, of course, with
Yeah.
excitement. I see a purple truck. Not, it's a nice purple truck. It's a beautiful purple
Mm.
truck. It's just like, I see a purple truck. Like that. Okay?
Yeah.
The kid start looking around and he would see it on his pajamas. And I would play this game. I see a
Mm.
red flower. and the kid started to engage. Before you know it, this
Mm.
kid was around my leg. Comes right up,
Oh,
right? They start to get closer and closer and closer to you.
yeah.
So anyways, I have fun with kids now. I
It's
didn't
beautiful.
have that sort of perspective when my kid was young. We're young. I have four
Yeah.
kids, right? So, but anyways, somehow they all survived me.
The grandparent era, I've heard, is a fabulous era because you get to have the fun. And you've already done the parenting thing. You've done that crash course that no one actually gets a manual for. And now you can just
It
enjoy.
was crash for sure, and everybody survived.
That's it. We do. It's okay. We figure it out. We find our way. That's so lovely. I'd love to hear more about your cold plunge as well. Like, is that your version of ear acupuncture? Is like getting in the lake? Is that does that serve you in that way, or like what is it that the cold plunge does for you?
People ask me that question a lot because I'm a doctor, or people tend to want to know if you do something, that has to be a reason, right? It has to
Yeah.
be a health benefit, something like you're getting something
Right.
out of it. Otherwise, why would you do it, right? And
Hmm.
I think that's very, very logical for brain to do that, right? Everybody's brain would do that, right? So, and I think there's lots of reasons we can speculate. I say speculate because we don't know anything, honestly. Like,
Yes.
they're all speculations, right?
It's all speculation. We're
I
just
can put on
making
my
stuff up.
scientific hat and start speculating all I want. And I can
Yeah.
come up with probably a big list. And I've done this before. But I would say on the top of the list, the most important thing
Mm,
for me is to be able to see that thought in your head and say, you could be, am I being weird
mm,
on that dance floor? Am I too much? How am I
mm.
being hurt? And at the same time, you're connecting to what is really happening, the music, right?
Yeah.
You watch those two things happening simultaneously and you allow yourself, right? You can't stop the
Yes.
brain from making all kind
Yeah.
of stories
It's
about
gonna
like
just
this
do
and
this.
that.
It's
Am I
okay.
good? Am I bad? Am I
Yeah.
the, am I? But simultaneously, you're still connecting with the isness of the sensation,
Mm.
right? Which is in this
Yes.
case, the vibration of the music and allowing your body to listen to the music. So this, I think, in the cold water, that is the number one benefit is that it gives us another opportunity, just like if you're doing conscious dance,
Yeah.
it's another opportunity to connect with the sensation. while the
Yeah.
mind is saying,
Awooga.
your
Right?
brain is talking very loud at that point, but you
Yeah.
are listening to your body
Mm.
nevertheless. It's just a sensation, right? And then
Yeah.
you start to say, even though the brain is saying one thing, you say, well, thank you for your opinion, but I'm going to stay here a little longer.
Ugh. I love thank you for your opinion. That's a lovely way to put it.
I appreciate your opinion, but
I'll
I will
take it
check
under
in a few more
advisement,
minutes.
you know?
So I think that is another opportunity, like up in the room that I
Yes.
point up there because that is exactly where the room is in that direction. Okay, in my room there, it's an
Hmm.
opportunity for people to witness just that. What's
Yeah.
going on? The certain things will come up. People quite often come to the room, say in the beginning they come the feeling that they need to feel peace when they're in there.
Yeah.
But after
Mm-mm.
a while they realize it is whatever comes up and to be okay with it.
Yeah. Are there times like because it's you are there with them, but you're not like leading them through something. Um, is there say someone's finding it too much? How does that go? Like, do you have a way you approach someone if they're feeling overwhelmed by it, or how
Up
does
in
that go?
my group, your acupuncture
Yeah,
session.
for the acupuncture.
For
Yeah.
my acupuncture sessions, I probably had 3 people who had to leave, and I've
Mm-hmm.
done it like
Wow, that seems low. Actually, I don't know why I was assuming it would be
okay,
higher.
maybe half a dozen. Okay,
Yeah,
most people have no issue staying through,
it's
right?
great.
And
Yeah.
I purchased almost the thousands of treatments so far.
Wow.
By the time
Yeah.
my person batch is done, I would have bought 10,000 sets. That's a
That's
lot,
incredible.
right?
Yeah.
A lot. I mean, I waste some, okay,
Sure.
but I'm thinking it's number in the thousands now. That
Mm,
I've seen people sit through, and 35 minutes of precious sort of. I'm not running away. I'm just gonna see.
yeah.
Okay, everything. Oh, that is it. Have you heard of Vipassana, Joan?
It's
Vipassana,
a yoga term, isn't it?
Vipassana is a practice where
Oh, it's a
you
practice.
know the 10-day silent retreat.
Oh, I
That's
I've
the
heard of them. Yeah.
that's called a Vipassana. In
Okay.
in the certain Buddhist tradition, there's a practice where people sit for 10 hours per day for 10 days, and
Wow.
they witness or do nothing. They
Mm,
witness, no pins either, but they give you certain practices that has instructions. So with the acupuncture is instructionless. Like if you're doing MBSR, there's an instruction. Meditation have
yeah.
an instruction. So
Yeah.
sometimes instruction becomes the barrier for them to see something
Mm,
outside what's playing in their head because they're constantly trying to do something, trying to follow the instruction, right?
yeah.
And that can
Yeah.
become a for some people it works, for some people that becomes a problem.
Yeah.
So less instruction the better. Sorry, Joan, I think I forgot your question.
No, I think well, was curious. Yeah, you did
Oh,
answer my
oh,
question because I
water.
said, "What happens if it's too much?" And you answered it. It rarely happens, but they're free to leave if it's too much, basically.
Oh yeah, if it's too much, they just leave. But
Yeah.
generally, it doesn't happen too much.
Oh, good.
And they have left
Wow.
before. Sometimes it's I think
Yeah.
yeah, for some reason, most of them stay. As I guess, it's a good question. Like, how come they didn't all leave, but somehow they stay?
It probably speaks to also the selection criteria sounds way too formal and guideliney, but like you said, like you're you're waiting for the right moment to offer where it's a good match, right? So it also speak like the right people are coming to the groups too, in that when they're ready, they come.
Right. It's
And that probably
self-selected
helps.
already. It's like that's
Yeah,
what I
totally.
say. I think that's why there's. I always tell people, really, really, is the magic is you. That's you've already seen this. That's why you're here. Otherwise, you wouldn't be here in the first place.
Yeah.
So I'm
Mm,
just here to witness what's going to happen with
yeah.
gratitude and curiosity because they're all different.
Mm, mm,
I, yeah, that's awesome, Joan.
so good. I've been like really wanting to somehow experiment with groups in my practice. I don't have groups yet, but it seems like a pretty natural next sort of evolution of how we can offer our limited resource to more people, if you will, and in a way where then they can see that there's not like something special about the clinician in the room per se, because they also then are in space with other humans. You know, I haven't yet found what my version of group is, but one of the barriers I've had is the idea of like taking first of all taking time away from the one-on-one appointment slots because there's never enough of those. And also of having patients still want you to write them a sick note in the middle of it. Like I have this imagined fear that they won't respect the container. So yeah, thoughts on that? Starting groups?
Yeah, I think so. People stay, right? So there's no real issue that way. So I suppose if you ever had a chance to sit through one of my groups, you'll know. So you'll see that most people have. Yeah, sometimes at the end of the session, they may ask you some questions. I leave a little bit of space, right? So that
Mm.
they can ask me some other questions because some of them are my patients, some of them are referred to me, right?
Ah, yeah.
Oh yeah, I get lots of, I get some referrals, right? They come in, but they don't stay long. After a while, after few weeks, they usually move on. They get better. They actually
Wow,
get better. Can you believe that? Like
that's wonderful.
they actually get better. Like I literally call them up. I say, "How are you doing? COVID
Mm.
was a little rough, wasn't it? So I'm happy. I'm doing great." So like I keep going because every time I watch the news, every time I watch all the miseries, and I say, "Okay, Carlos, go back to pinning because that is where you can make a difference one at a time."
Yeah,
So when, yeah,
absolutely.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Uh, as you were talking about that, you're interested in groups, and I would be happy to, we can co-create something in Guelph even. Maybe on the day of
That's
the
cool.
conscious dance.
We can have a
Before the
chat.
conscious dance, you can run a group. If you can get even a few people together, I can literally come and do a group for you.
Oh my goodness, that would be pretty cool. Okay, well, let's talk
We can
off
make a
podcast
poster
about
if you're
plans, but
interested.
I mean, I just love so much of what you've shared, and I feel like I could ask you 50 billion more questions. But I also want to make sure that you can go poke your head out the room if a patient comes in 7 minutes.
There's
So
only 7 minutes still, lots of time.
yeah, lots of time. Well, I
And no,
want to leave
I won't be
space
gone for
for
long.
okay. Well, I do want to leave space for what is typically my last question, which is thinking about folks who are listening in. So most folks that listen are in healthcare. Many are physicians, but not all. Like they just work in healthcare, and they're drawn to the podcast typically because they're realizing that the ways that they've been sort of maybe taught to be in medicine and in healthcare, they don't really leave space for their full humanity. They're feeling like a bit constricted and they're wondering, how can I feel more human? How can I show up um, more of my human self can show up to this work in healthcare, and how can it feel better to do this work? Um, and so I'm wondering for those that are struggling, maybe they're feeling burnt out, maybe they're feeling like they have to still hide their weirdness, their magic. Those two things are the same thing, in my opinion. What kind of words of encouragement or advice would you want to offer to them?
I would say, okay, the magic in each one of us is it's witnessing, it's experiencing those moments when you are like in the here now.
Mm,
When you're fully in the here now with your patients, with your family, or with yourself when you're alone, you're fully in the here now. We're all magic. So I would say, so I would say that the pointing that, the path is to back to the here now. What is it that gets you back to the here now? Now,
yeah,
sometimes, our profession requires a lot of pre-thinking, post-thinking, and we can tend to, and we may have become doctors because we're very good at that. Okay, the pre-thinking, post-thinking, and
yeah.
sometimes, but too much of it, it can be a challenge. It's like, did I do the right thing? Did I choose the wrong profession? Okay, am I good enough for this job? Right?
uh,
That kind of thinking is good in small doses, right? a little bit too much can get in the way of actually doing the work,
Yeah.
enjoying your life, enjoying your family, and even trying just to be happy.
Yeah.
So how do we restore the right amount of, here now, but just a little bit of pre-thinking and post-thinking and that kind of sort of introspection makes us decent human beings, but not too much, right? How do you have that moment? How do you reach that balance is the challenge for
Yeah.
everyone, not just for our patients. It's also for us. Like we are just another individual like everybody else, right?
Yeah.
We have this, we face the same challenge. How do we unleash that ability to be in the here and now? Some of us find our ways through different ways, but they all have a common denominator. They all have to do with some sort of a sensory awareness training, Sen- spending time paying attention to our body
Mm.
versus just the thoughts in our head. Right? There's a
Yeah.
balance. The brain is always producing thoughts. The work requires to do that. So we are attentive to it. We have become trained. We have become experts. We're the Olympians of thought awareness. Now,
It's true.
if you want to maintain that Olympian status and still be happy, you have to become equally sensory aware. And there's two things that happen simultaneously. Like when you're in that conscious stance, your
Yeah.
mind is saying, "Hey, it might have been weird," you know.
Hmm.
Like all about a self-conscious thought that shows up right from a programming to the brain. There's nothing you can do about it. It's just there,
Yeah.
and simultaneously attentive to that vibration that's coming through the room. That balance point, right, needs to be
Yes.
practiced. I think spending time in that place, wherever that might be, maybe one person could be golf, another person could be yoga, another person could be walking in the woods, another
Yeah.
person could be conscious stance. And some people want to jump in the cold water and watch the sunrise. It can
That
be
sounds like
any
a
of
good
those
one.
things.
Mm.
I think so. So to answer your question, if I had to say something, it's more like I'm just pointing a direction.
Yeah.
It's like we got a lot of this already. We need to get back into our sensory experiences, whatever that is for you.
Mm. I resonate a ton with that answer and just think it was very beautifully said. So thank you. Um, do you have like public facing, like, so say some people are listening and they want to contact you. You have a website, right? Do you?
Yeah, I have
Yeah.
I have websites. So my yeah. So just you can put my contact there if you want because it's public
Yeah.
anyways. My phone number
Yeah.
is public, my email's public. I have websites. I have
Okay.
I have all kind of the standard
Are you on any social media?
Facebook,
Yep.
Instagram, right?
Oh, you're on Instagram.
LinkedIn, and
Okay.
I have a website called presencetherapy.ca, and I can
Okay.
share that
Perfect.
with you later. I have a few websites on it. I had those websites built for that very purpose to kind of like it's kind of like see who else wants to try this.
Yeah.
Kind of like I just
Great.
throw it out there and then just become like path of invitation
Yep.
because I know it's not for everyone, but
Yeah.
some of those people are out there. I know. So this is actually a
Absolutely.
great opportunity for me able to sort of be another path, right? Who knows?
Yes.
Maybe I'll do it in Guelph.
Hello. I mean, it could happen.
It could happen,
So I'll
right?
put all the links to that in the show notes. So if folks want to reach out to you, they can. And yeah, we'll have to plan a conscious dance meetup.
Yeah, when you go
That's
next
gonna
time, you
happen.
let me know because Saturday
Yeah.
evening I'm always free.
Oh, perfect. Okay.
And my daughter is there. I'll bring my
Oh
daughter.
my gosh.
My
Okay.
daughter lives on University West and she
That's
works for Guelph
perfect.
University.
Oh my
And I'm very
gosh.
fond of Guelph.
Yes, it's a really special
It's a
city.
beautiful
I
place.
really
People
love working there.
Yeah, there's some good energy there.
Yes. Oh yeah.
You know what I'm talking about.
I know. I know what you're talking about. There is
The
magic
moment Jacqueline says
there.
you're in Guelph, I say, "Oh,
That's all you need to know.
I need to know all of it." Also, of course, for so
That's
many
it.
other reasons.
So good. Well, thank you so much for being so generous with your story and your time, Carlos. I feel like this is just the beginning of an ongoing conversation we're going to be having, you and I. And I'm so glad that folks got to listen to this first hour of the ongoing conversation.
Thank you, Joan.
All right. And for those listening, yeah, just I would really invite each of you to think about sensory awareness and what allows you to connect with, your sensation with your body, knowing there's there's infinite numbers of ways to do it, and how that could then really help find that elusive balance we're all looking for. Um, that's the invitation that's coming through from our conversation, Carlos. So thank you again.
Thank you.
Wonderful. All right. We'll talk to you later. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
I would love to take this work deeper with you. Visit joanchanmd.com today and discover my growing menu of options for restorative medical education to suit your learning needs. I offer one-on-one coaching, customized workshops, and self-study courses that allow you to connect not only with my work on a deeper level, but also with other healthcare humans just like you. So if you want to start humanizing your work in healthcare to a deeper level and do it in community with others, please visit joanchanmd.com and find those options and what fits you and your life today.